In this video I'm going to show you how to replace the door lock, which is on the LG front load washer. The reason I'm replacing it is because I am getting a DE error code or fault code, and so one of the things that it can be is the door lock mechanism, and I'm going to replace it. Here's an example of the code that I get. Just do a regular start. Should try and lock the door. There's one try, two, and it fails on the third try. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it. That switch is located right here. So to get to this lock mechanism to replace it, it's actually fairly simple. You may not even notice it on your rubber seal here down underneath. There's actually a spring-loaded metal band that goes around, and there is a special tool you can buy for it. It's about $60, and so that's why I'm not purchasing it. Just use caution if you end up using a screwdriver or something, so you don't damage your rubber seal. So I'm just going to reach in here. I've already taken this off once, so it's probably a little bit easier, but if you just pry it out, it will pop loose. And then you can easily just kind of go ahead and pull the ring off if you want. Okay, that allows us to reach up here, pull the rubber seal back, and you'll note that there's a groove on the back side here. Make sure when reinstalling that this groove gets fit onto the metal lip here, so that metal band will hold the rubber seal in place. And we just need to undo 2 screws here, and there's a wiring harness that holds that switch in. We'll do that now. So for easy access, I went ahead and pulled the rubber seal back all the way and just kind of tucked it inside the drum. Now it's completely out of my way, and you can see the switch right here. Hard to remove the screws. The only thing we have left to do is remove that wiring harness and pull the switch out, and I have a new one ready to go. Okay, so we just have this wiring harness here. Loosen it up a little bit so I can do it with one hand. That's the module you're going to replace with a switch. Okay, it'll only go in one way. See a little raised lip? That's where it actually will go through the metal here. There are a lot of aftermarket ones. I purposely bought an identical one. Just be careful that you don't get them mixed up after you pull the old one out and set it next to the new one. One way, if you do by chance, is you can look inside the holes where it was mounted and see if there are threads in there from the screws. If there are not, then that would be the new one. Hold the back of it now, reinsert your 2 screws. Now we'll go ahead and pull the rubber seal back into its proper place. And make sure we get it fit into the groove all the way around. And then we'll put the metal ring back on, the most challenging part. So again, it's critical to make sure you get the back side of this rubber groove around the metal lip here. And it's not difficult, it's just making sure that it gets into its seat. One of the tricks would be to kind of lift up, and so you want to pull it away from the center and kind of roll it and push back. Okay, now we'll take the metal ring here, and as you remember, the spring was actually at the bottom, so I'm going to start, and this is actually best if you have an extra set of hands that somebody can help, but I'm going to start at the top and make sure I get it in the groove, push down, work my way around, and it'll come to a point where I'm going to have to start using a tool to put it in. Now, if I'd have bought the $60 tool, that's the benefit of it. It actually takes the spring and spreads it apart and makes it real simple to put in. But the part was only $30, so I don't want to spend $60 on a tool. So I'm going to try this. It's a Craftsman tool. It's kind of like a pair of vice grips, but it actually has a rubber nose on it. And I've clamped those down pretty tight. That's what I'm going to try and use. The other option is to have someone actually, a second person, come over here. Once you get it around the top, bring it around, have them hold it close to the bottom on one side, whichever side, and have them kind of, you know, push down and out so that it'll hold that ring in there. And then you will go to the opposite side, make sure that it's still in on the section that you want to do. Work your way around, and I found what's handy for me, just using my tools that I have in the garage, is a metal putty knife. It seems to work pretty good, but you got to be careful you don't damage your rubber seal, or then you're going to be into it replacing the whole seal. So I'm going to get it down as far as I can here on the other side. Much as I can. I'm going to hold it in there, and let's see if this is successful. Just kind of making sure that's behind the rubber seal, which couple of spots it's not, so just kind of forcing it in there, and this will be the true test. I'm going to take my clamp off. Okay, what I found that was a help for me is once I got to the bottom and I'm kind of holding it in with my putty knife, the spring, well actually the metal ring, has a little two little loops on it. You can kind of get a hold of them with a screwdriver. Be careful and kind of pull them down and kind of roll them, make sure they get up into the seat, and do the same thing on this one. You can feel around it too, just kind of get an idea if you feel like a bumpy spot. Besides, there are little ridges every so often that are designed in the rubber, but if you go around and you just feel and something doesn't feel right, then you probably need to address that before you test your machine. Okay, I think we're ready to go ahead and give it a test. I've kind of checked the seal all the way around, look good. 2 screws are in tight. This is a totally separate thing, but LG actually came out and looked at our machine for an issue we had with the board, but they said leave your door propped open for if you get mildew and mold starting to build up inside. They recommend just kind of a homemade deal is just get some Velcro and put a little piece of Velcro on the front of the door as well, so you can leave it propped open. That way it's not swinging open all the way when it's not in use. Okay, so we're ready to give it a try. We'll close her up. And there we go. Shows it's actually locked and good to go. Hope this video has helped you. I found some online videos, but I just kind of want to do it myself and put one out there with maybe a little bit more detail. Thanks.